Lisa Munoz have been writing stories since she was little and got serious when she turned 19, writing short stories and songs. Since then, a passion for both creative writing and music has grown stronger. Lisa attended many writing retreats and workshops hosted by Scottish writers Jason Donald and Janice Galloway. She currently works as a pet sitter in her hometown of Geneva. In her spare time, she likes yoga, eat exercises, going out with friends, and playing with her cat, Inky. And on today's episode of Auto Interview, it's my utmost pleasure and joy to have on the show today Lisa Munoz. Welcome on the show, Lisa.
Nice to meet you. I'm really happy to be here.
Yeah, it's my utmost pleasure as well to have you on the show today. I'm excited. So, Lisa, could you tell us about your book, On Beast, Lizard Ambition? How does this book come about? What inspired you to write On Beast?
So I basically started writing this as far back as 2011.
Oh,
I wanted to write a book about a fictionalized band and how the band comes about. At the time, X Factor was very, very popular. So I was
hmm.
watching that weekend. But I decided to add a little twist because I was also working on some Monsters Inc. fan fiction. That's the Pixar film. And I just decided to combine them together. And after going on several writing retreats,
Hmm.
um, I just basically the story developed from there, and it became like its own world building with all these different rules
Hmm.
and like themes of discrimination and themes of disability. They basically grew over the years thanks
Wow.
to many sort of like edits from my brilliant editor Laura. So yeah, and it just kept growing and growing and growing, and it got up to this point, and I'm really happy with it.
That's so great. That's so lovely to know. And I want to say congratulations on that. And I particularly love the title, On Beast. What genre is it?
So it's YA sci-fi for young
Oh.
adult science fiction, but I would kind of consider it as more light fiction rather than hardcore science fiction. Like it's not
Mm.
really like a space opera like Star Wars, and it's not really intense sort of medical stuff. I kind of deliberately wanted to avoid that and make it
Oh.
a simple story about a virus, a sort of like semi-post-apocalyptic story set in our world, but focused on musicians.
Oh. That's amazing. I really love the sound of your book. Now, for readers who haven't read the book yet, and of course, without giving much information away, could we have a sneak of what we'd expect picking up On Beast, Lizard Ambition?
My book is basically about Ziggy Coils, who is a human beast or a
Oh.
chimera man, who has been recently been orphaned and reunited with his father, but his father is an alcoholic abusive, and he's
Mm.
forcing him to go into a school that he doesn't like, which is mostly focused on physical activities to make him into like a soldier or a bodyguard or something that's somebody who's easy to control. And a lot of human beasts like him have different kinds of jobs to their human counterparts, and he's
Mm.
very much aware of this. And he sort of like fights back in his own sort of way, but he wants to
Wow.
be a musician more than anything. And
Wow.
so it's basically his journey as well as his bass player Frankie's journey to forming this band, but also along the way overcoming their demons.
Mm. I so much love the sound of your book. It sounds pretty much very interesting to me. Thank you so much for sharing. Now, Lisa, there is this question that I love asking authors that come on my show, especially novelists like yourself. I've been so fascinated about how writers, especially novelists, craft long sentences and brings works together in a way that it eventually makes a great novel. This always leaves me thinking about how exactly they got the ideas and inspiration. Now, as far as writing is concerned, I too would love to ask you, how do you get your inspiration and ideas? Would you love to talk about that?
I pretty much get my ideas at very random moments.
Oh.
I'm sort of thinking, if I'm daydreaming sometimes when I'm walking my other people's dogs, or if I'm
Mm.
doing stuff in the house. I sort of pick up like these random ideas, or I watch a film or I read a book.
Mm.
And if I feel like it's interesting enough, I write it down in my notes. Sometimes it's a part of my book, sometimes not. It really does depend. Um, so yeah, in terms of inspiration, I'm kind of inspired like either by my own life or by other people's lives, or
Mm.
mostly it's I kind of take like the approach of, okay, what would I like to see in a novel? And
Mm.
that's basically what I write. I write what I want to see in a novel.
Wow, that's such an interesting one. I love the sound of it. It really do made for an interesting discussion. Thank you so much for sharing. That's so lovely. Now, as authors, we all have different ways of reacting to feedbacks and criticism of our works. I'm curious to know your opinion about criticism. How do you react to negative reviews of your books if you've ever had one in time past?
Um, I I feel like if you have like a negative review, I always have to keep everybody always has to keep in mind that your book is not going to be for everyone. There's always going
Absolutely.
to be somebody out there that is not, this is not really the type of book for you,
Mm,
or maybe they were expecting something and that's not what they got, and so they leave a negative review. I've seen it happen a lot of times, and I've had that with certain other books where maybe I think a lot of the times the marketing plays a part in it. If somebody is marketing something and then it's the book is not what they wanted to be, or they just simply, it wasn't their cup of tea, as we would say
mm.
in England. And and so yeah, I mean, obviously it's always a bit disheartening when you do see a negative review, but
Absolutely.
sort of I most of the time I just don't take it to heart. I just have to remind myself, maybe this one wasn't for you. If that's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I so much love your take on criticism. That's so nice to know. And I understand that not everybody a
Mm,
particular book meant for. Some are just not a fan of this particular genre or not a fan of this particular read. But that's quite
mm,
lovely to know. Thank you so much for sharing.
thank you.
Yeah. Now, I'm also curious to know if you experienced any challenges in the process of writing your books. If there is any, could you share with us what challenge it is and how you ultimately overcame it?
I think the biggest one is to just like write a lot at the same time. I would, when writing my next book, ideally, I would have to like to have like a couple of days where I would write for like 3 hours, but that unfortunately rarely happens. And
Wow.
my attention span sometimes runs out, and I'm kind of
Mm,
unable to keep the flow going, shall we
yeah.
say. But I would like to get that back. I don't know if you know of this challenge. It's called the November Month of Writing Challenge. This
And
is a
Narimo.
yeah, NaNoWriMo,
Yeah.
and I've decided to do it this month for the sequel. And it's just something that it's sort of like a fun challenge to get yourself like motivated to write like every day, and the number one thing is to not go back and try to edit it. It's just simply
Yeah.
to
Just,
spill out everything, which, and I have to say that is quite challenging for me. I have a tendency to sort of like go back on what I've written and just like looking at, because I
yeah.
really like to see what I've written and see like the outcome. Like this
Mm.
is like, I can't help but sort of like look back on it.
Yeah, that's actually nice. I really love your answers to these questions. And even the
Mm,
fact of NaNoWriMo, I think I would love to jump on it, but well, I'll
mhm.
see how it goes. Actually, I'm not so sure. That's quite nice. Now, Lisa, apart from Home-Based Laser Ambition, do you have any other works you've authored or maybe currently working on?
I'm working on the sequel to Human Beasts.
Wow.
Um, so yeah, I'm still a lot of work to be
Wow.
done because a lot of it involves a lot of rewrites to try and put all the things together. So I'm still sort of figuring that out. Other than that, I've also written a couple of short stories.
Wow.
I haven't published them yet, but if I get the chance to have enough short stories, I can do like a small anthology of them, which would be quite nice.
Oh, that's quite great that you're getting a prequel to that. And now I'd love to ask you, how long are you taking us in this series of Home-Based? Is it going to be a two-book series, a three-book series, or four? Do you have an idea to that yet?
There'll be three. There'll be three. However, I thought of this the other day about putting mini stories
Hmm.
of side characters. It's nothing,
Standalones.
no, nothing really big, just like from different points of view.
Yeah.
Uh, Seeing the from the different points of view of different characters, I just find that to be really
Wow.
interesting. If you Because I've got for the moment like three different points of view in the second one and only two in the first book.
Wow.
So I'm really interested in sort of like looking at different perspectives and seeing like the behind the scenes of what has been going on during this time in the book.
Wow. That's quite a lot of work you're doing. That's quite a
Yeah,
lot of
yeah,
writing.
yeah.
Yeah. Now, could you tell us what publishing is like for a published author like yourself? Are there any challenges you've encountered ever since you got published?
So I have self-published my novel. And the reason why I decided to self-publish is because I had reached a certain age. I'm 34 now. I just wanted my book out, and I wanted to continue writing. I wanted to focus on getting my book published and getting it out there and getting a platform and really sort of just doing all this stuff first, and then I can focus
Hmm.
on different projects. I had sent some queries to different agents, but none of it really came about. And I'd seen several of my other fellow writers go down the self-publishing route.
Hmm.
Uh, and I also found out that several of my other peers who had uh, done traditional publishing, they'd
Hmm.
done so with small presses. And that could be just as like challenging as self-publishing because you still have to do a lot of the stuff yourself.
Yeah.
So by doing the going down the self-publishing route, you have to also do all of the promotion yourself, the advertising,
Absolutely.
just basically trying to get people to be interested in reading your book.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so nice to know. Thank you so much for mentioning all of
Mm.
this. Now, Lisa, is there anything that you love to share with the viewers about your books that we did not mention in this interview and you'd love the viewers to know?
It's available on Kobo, Barnes and
Wow.
Noble, Amazon, um, and Apple as well. It's really it's a really fascinating read. It has all these incredible themes such as discrimination,
Mm,
disability, queer relationships, male friendships, and trying to make it as a musician.
wow.
Um, another thing that my mother said is that she really related to it because her partner had been was also is also like a drummer in a band, and they really tried to make it as a band a lot, and it was came up against a lot of challenges
Wow.
just to get themselves into clubs in Geneva. So and
Mm,
it's a lot of work as a musician anyway. So
yeah, that's so lovely to know. I love the sound of that. Now,
mm.
as a published author, what sort of advice do you have for other writers who are still struggling with publishing a book? What would you advise people in this category?
Never give up. That's the number one thing. If you think about giving it up, it's not going to work.
Mm,
And my thing is just that anybody can be a writer.
absolutely.
But a successful writer is the person who never gives up. And you have to
Yeah.
keep on going. There's a lot of struggle, but you have to keep on going if that's what you really want.
That's such a great advice. I love it. And I'm hopeful that viewers, including myself, would love to utilize it. Now, Lisa, in case we have some interested viewers who are watching this interview and they would love to get a copy of your books, on what platform are they available on for purchase?
So like I said, it's available on Amazon, Kobo, Barnes and Noble, and Apple.
Yeah,
And
great.
I'm looking for other, and like I said, it's going to be available on the 11th of October as a paperback. So
Wow.
that can be shipped pretty much worldwide.
Yeah, and I left a link in the description part of this interview where interested viewers can get a copy of Lisa Munoz's books directly on the website, on the mentioned website. So thank you so much, Lisa, for accepting the invitation to be featured on P English Literature. It's awesome having this conversation with you.
Thank you very much. It was my pleasure.
Yeah, I'm excited as well.